Hello and welcome. I'm Sidhi Desai. I'm a body confidence coach, a writer, and a dancer who recently moved to Canada. I'm excited to share my experiences, bits of motivation, and offer up some laughs and advice on this platform. So, in our today's podcast, I am going to share my experience and my journey to a new beginning and how I discovered resilience in the face of fear. Have you ever taken a leap of faith and ventured into the unknown? Leaving behind everything you have ever known and loved to start anew in a foreign land can be both exhilarating and terrifying. But as I sit here in my small apartment, thousands of miles away from home, I can't help but feel the pain of being alone. The silence is deafening, and the only sounds I hear are my own thoughts. When I moved to Canada, everything I had learned and been taught was tested. For a long time, I credited my mother and my husband for my decision to move to Canada. We had been trying to get the visa for some time, but I had become content with my life in India. However, the universe had other plans for me. From the moment I got the call from my agent to the day of my departure, it was only 15 days. I learned that change can be difficult, especially when you need to be your own guide. It took time for me to accept the fact that I had left India, and Canada still felt alien to me. I was set in my ways and had to learn to adapt emotionally, physically, and psychologically to my new surroundings. I was scared and closed off while traveling on the bus or subway. It took a while for me to get used to the Canadian way of life. But sometimes feeling distant and not wanting to take responsibility is the part of a process. Change is uncomfortable, especially when you are all alone. Initially, I stayed with my brother in law for 3 days and then with an uncle for a week, thanks to my mother's friend. I then had to find a place of my own and ended up renting a basement from another uncle where there were three girls already staying. I did realize that doors opened for me when I least expected them to. I spent my first 2 weeks looking for a job, and I was willing to do anything and everything. As a practitioner of emotional freedom technique, to maintain my calm and peace, I practiced EFT. I also meditated, but I still missed India and wept for days. I allowed myself to cry because I knew that life had changed. I missed the me and the lifestyle I had in India. So, when you ask the universe for the life you truly desire, you do have to be prepared for the discomfort that comes with it. You must be willing to do and be different, and it will cost you your peace. It will test your patience and everything you think you know. Starting anew at the age of 30 or later is challenging, but the journey and the months I have lived alone have taught me that the value of this journey isn't in figuring out if it's worth it, it's in the experience of it. As much as it has been a life changing and exhilarating journey, it was also an incredibly lonely one. When you are in a new place, far away from home, and the familiar faces that you have come to rely on, it's easy to feel like you're completely alone in this world. The pain of being alone can be unbearable at times, as if you're the only person left in the world and there's no one to turn to. During those moments, your survival skill will be truly put to test. You will need to dig deep and find the strength to keep going, even when it feels like there's nothing left to hold on to. But it's also during those moments that you will discover a resilience that you never knew you had. You will realize that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible and that you are stronger than you ever gave yourself credit for. So, to anyone listening this, I urge you to take that risk and jump into the unknown. It won't be easy, but the rewards will be immeasurable. And when you find yourself feeling alone and lost, remember that you have what it takes to survive. Remember, the pain of being alone is temporary, but the strength and resilience that you will gain from it will last a lifetime. You will truly be fearless, and that kind of strength, that experience is just yours. Your heart knows that. As it is rightly said, it is never too late to begin. Your eyes will shine differently, and you will be fearless in a way that you never thought possible. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be sitting in your own small apartment, thousands of miles away from home, and you will realize that you wouldn't have it any other way. And yes, what happened after 2 weeks is a story for another time. But I promise you, it's one hell of a ride. So stay tuned for my next podcast where I will share my experience about my first job in Canada and how I landed it. Until then, have fun and keep playing. Life is too short for the serious ones. Thank you. Love and light, Sidhi Desai.